Welcome back to the James Norris Allcott channel. I'm gonna let you know one transfer that in or out, shake it all about, that could happen between now and the transfer deadline. It's going to be quickfire, it's going to be glorious, it's going to be exciting, and my God, it's going to be juicy, as has been the entire transfer window. And if things change, expect me talking to you in a different jumper. Little warning for you there. Let's dive into it with Arsenal. Houssem Aouar. I know Arsenal have been looking at him for quite some time, and maybe it's too late, but they have been linked with him quite a lot. It turns out that he says that he wants to hold out for a team that's playing Champions League football. Ouch! No need for that. But Lyon, as we know, are struggling. Last season finished 4th. That's only Europa League. It's not the same Yankee as, of course, that comes in the Champions League. And so when it comes to players that they've sold so far, they've only spent 6.5 million euros and 31.5 million has been recruited, or accrued, I think was the word I was looking for, from transfers. So Arsenal might try and get this one going. They've spent a lot of money already. They've spent a lot of money on someone like Odegaard. They've already got Smith Rowe, so it could be tricky, but they are linked with him. Well, that didn't take long at all. I was going to talk about Houssem Aouar, but nope. I'm going to be talking about Willian. Willian looks like he's going to rip up the 20 million that he could still receive with his 240k a week wages. 2 years left on that, remember, at Arsenal. He's going to let that go. Arsenal directors apparently amazed by his gesture. Yeah, amazed, astonished, and incredibly lucky, because they shouldn't have given him the deal in the first place. But it shows his pride in his, I guess, in his work a little bit. Maybe we didn't see that last year. But it looks like he's going to be going to Corinthians. And for Arsenal fans, you've got to be absolutely delighted with that fact, because he's just not worked. He costs too much. And if he can go to Corinthians, have that homecoming, feel great about it, the last few years of his career, away from the shadow that is going to follow him as an Arsenal player, then that's an amazing thing for all parties concerned. For Aston Villa, it's going to be a transfer out, and it's going to be Wesley, or Vesley, as I've said in previous videos, because I read that that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. So many names are pronounced so many different ways. How am I supposed to keep up? I'm going to go with Wesley now, because I don't like being laughed at. Danny Ings is obviously there. Ollie Watkins is there. He's not going to get the same amount of game time. And he's going to either be a big part, see what I did there, or he will want to go and, play football. So it's kind of down to his ambitions. He does offer something very different. I think Aston Villa might want to just kind of loan him out to see if they can sell him a bit further down the road. But it looks like Wesley is the player that should be making way and going somewhere. Probably Turkey. Normally is, isn't it? For Brighton, it's an exciting time for Brighton, because in terms of the money that they've spent, 28 million euros, okay, remember that number. The amount of money they've accrued, that's that word again, accrued, they've received, another word for it, 58 million on outgoing players. So, who got the money? Go and spend that cash and get yourself a bloody striker. Odsonne Edouard from Celtic. Go and get it done. It's been linked through Transfermarkt that this could happen. And if Transfermarkt, you're lying, shame on you. Because we don't want speculation here. We want cold, hard facts. So this could be one that you could probably spend 30 million. That's pretty much it, isn't it? 30 million's left over. Spend it on Odsonne Edouard. They probably need the money, I guess, and Brighton are one of the few teams that can do it, because sometimes there's things that get in the way, like FFP. Sorry, I nearly got that out. Just couldn't do it. Brentford are linked with Brennan Johnson. Now, fans of the EFL will know about Brennan Johnson, one of the best players in League One with Lincoln City, and a lot of speculation about him kind of making a double jump, going back to Nottingham Forest, his parent club, but actually missing out on them, and was linked with Leeds United, but he's also been linked with Brentford. Sky Sports reporter Lyle Thomas reported that they were in talks with him. He's one of those players that I think a lot of people believe has the quality to make that double jump. So they've already signed Wissa. I don't know if they really need him right now. I think for the player, it's better that he stays and develops, but he's no doubt going to be a Premier League player. So it would suit that Brentford style of getting him in now and allowing him to develop. For Burnley, a couple of names to talk about here. Marcus Tavernier is one that's been linked. Jordan Rushworth, who wouldn't lie. Jordan, you wouldn't lie. He's a good guy, Jordan Rushworth, of Football League World. He's suggesting that he's got the insider knowledge. He's got the intel. And Marcus Tavernier is being linked with Burnley. It is a player, it was actually the other Tavernier from Rangers that we were saying earlier in the season should maybe go to Burnley as a right-back option. Marcus Tavernier plays for Middlesbrough. He's a left-footed right winger, but he can play on both sides. It would be a good option, especially if someone like Dwight McNeil gets kind of pinched by another team. Coming up later in this video, it looks like they're on the verge, and at the time of recording they haven't done it yet, but Maxwell Cornet from Lyon in the region of a fee of 15 million, which would be their record spend. He's more of a left back, left midfielder. So Marcus Tavernier could be another option to kind of bolster a bit more like attacking flair and drive instead of sort of staying deep and putting those crosses in. Just having that little bit more pace out wide. Could be a really good option for someone like Burnley. For Chelsea, Koundé in, Zuma out. This feels like it's dependent on each other. Apparently Zuma looks like he's going to West Ham. We expect that to happen. We expect Koundé to then come through, and it's just another amazing signing for Chelsea. Sort of 5'11", athletic, ball playing centre back, could play wide of a three. I think can play fullback, of course, as well. It just highlights how great a window that Chelsea are having if they're able to get him in as well, just to add to that depth in maybe the one area where they're, if I want to use the word weak, I'm struggling to use it, but if they are slightly weak, maybe it is in that centre-back or right-sided, left-sided centre-back position. So Koundé coming through is a cracking transfer for him, especially someone so young with so much potential. Crystal Palace looking to get Eddie Nketiah in. It's kind of up for grabs, this one. It feels like he himself has said that he's okay if he stays, he's okay if he goes. I think he needs to go and play matches. It's going to be really important for him. He has had those different loan spells and a few games last year, but with Balogun coming in and starting to get game time ahead of him, he needs to make a move, and maybe alongside Benteke, who can do some of that sort of hard work for him, and he can be that poacher and go and score goals for them. Currently, Crystal Palace are not scoring goals at the time of writing. After their first two games, they were the only team in the Premier League that didn't have an XG of over 1. They had 0.9. So they definitely need to go and get a striker and someone who knows where the back of the net is. And then Nketiah, I think, is probably the best option they can get right now. But Everton, a player coming in, maybe, and it's a push, Dwight McNeil. They've consistently been linked with him throughout the summer. FFP is going to be a problem here, but it might be one of those where it's a loan with an obligation to buy. That might be the way through to get him in. They've wanted to bolster those wide areas. They've done it a little bit with the likes of Andros Townsend, Damari Gray, but Dwight McNeil might be seen by many as an upgrade on some of those guys. At least it would add to more competition in what is a very clear style of play that Rafa Benitez is trying to implement at Everton at the moment. For Leeds United, the main targets that they really wanted, Firpo, Harrison, they've gone and got them. It might be one that they want to kind of look to mould, or Bielsa looks to mould. And that player that could come in, Lewis O'Brien from Huddersfield Town. Of course, there's links there with Huddersfield and Carlos Corberán being the assistant manager to Bielsa, so there might have been a discussion there. I mean, Corberán's definitely going to want to keep him, but at 22, I think Bielsa could look to mould him as that energetic midfielder that they might just need if someone like Dallas gets injured or Phillips gets injured. For Leicester City, it will be an outgoing just because their recruitment is so good. They normally just get all that stuff done early in the window. So it's going to be a player that goes out. I guess there might be an idea that, I don't know, if someone really wants to spend a lot of money, they might try and go and get Ndidi. I don't see it happening. So Hamza Chowdhury could be the option. He's been linked with Newcastle United, and this would suit Leicester City. If they've got Ndidi, they've already brought in Samare as well, so there's not really space for Hamza Chowdhury. So if he's able to go on loan to someone like Newcastle United, that's going to drive up his price. So it would, I mean, it might not be a good thing for Newcastle down the line if that Joe Willock scenario, occurs again, but at least you've brought in a midfielder who's got real potential for that season where they're, again, looking to just survive in the league. So it could be a good one for Newcastle and for Leicester City, but certainly for Leicester City. For Liverpool, in terms of bringing a player in, maybe Basuma at Brighton. This is a bit of a stretch, I've got to be honest. I think it's going to be pretty quiet for Liverpool. I think they're set with their squad certainly until January, and if bits and pieces happen, injuries happen, then maybe they need to sort themselves out. And look, Basuma, according to Duncan Castles, he has suggested that Man United, Liverpool and Arsenal have all inquired about Basuma, who, as I've said on this channel, is Champions League ready. I guess the problem maybe if he goes to Liverpool is Is he going to sit at the base of that midfield? Is he going to dislodge the likes of Fabinho? I'm not sure. So do you play him as a box-to-box midfielder, which would be slightly different to his role at Brighton, but something that maybe he can do because he's incredibly talented. He would cost a lot as well. I think it would be a big player for Brighton to lose, and so I think they might be careful with this one. It all feels a bit tenuous, but it's the only name I can give you at the moment. Yes, that's right, I'm wearing a different top. That's because Ronaldo decided to go to Manchester United, not going to Man City, so that means I've got to change a couple of them. So Man City, first and foremost, I think there's still a twist in all of this. I really do. You know, think of the big players that have moved this summer, and Man City are kind of the ones left on their own a little bit without that striker, and this is still Man City. Man City have a lot of cash, and they're not as afraid to spend it as you would think, I believe. So this could happen, and I might be wrong, but Robert Lewandowski, he's played with Guardiola before. He hasn't signed that new contract, and I think part of that is because Bayern Munich want to kind of wait and see. Bayern Munich look to be lining up the Haaland move, and I think that the question here is, do Man City, deep down, when they've got pockets as deep as they've got, do they want to wait, or do they want to kind of capitalise on getting a full season of Lewandowski now and 3 seasons in total? If they're willing to do it with Harry Kane, I think Lewandowski's still got 3 years himself, so it really could be one where right at the end of it all, bit of madness, Bayern Munich get themselves set to make sure that they get Haaland, Man City go and get Lewandowski. Manchester United have now signed Cristiano Ronaldo, so it feels like for me that dream of getting a defensive midfielder, and I think we all agree that you do need that player who feels comfortable defensively and with the ball, because Fred's not that guy, really isn't that guy for them. But they've spent all their money on Ronaldo now, so I don't see them going and getting that defensive midfielder. If they do, maybe someone like Chouameni at Monaco, maybe that's the kind of player that you might go and get, but you're not going to get a finished article. They're not going to spend that money on Ndidi. So for me, from the transfer rumours that I've seen, it feels like Diego Dalot is one of the few options, but he did come on in the game against Wolves, and from what I've read, it looks like Borussia Dortmund want him, but Man United won't sell him unless they get themselves another option as a right back, and I don't know who that player is, so it's another one for the comments here, guys. If that is the scenario, who is the right back that you see Manchester United bringing through, even if it is a youth prospect who just plays backup for Wan-Bissaka? But it's a shame for Dalot, who I actually quite like and is a good backup for Wan-Bissaka, but spent 19 million on him. It's not worked out. He's had a couple of those loan moves, and I think for him, the best thing for him is to go to someone like Borussia Dortmund and get cracking with his career, but it's not down to him. It's down to Man United. Newcastle United, we've spoken about Hamza Chowdhury and the link there with Leicester City. There's another midfielder as well that they might look to get. It could be a busy final couple of days for Newcastle United. Ethan Ampadu, the other option, one of those players. He was at Sheffield United last year, will have grown from that experience, playing a lot of the games at centre-back and in centre midfield at times. It's kind of, it was a difficult season for him last year, but I think, look, in terms of his overall development, that season he will be better for that. He is a really exciting player and a lot bigger in stature than some people sometimes think. I think because you see him as a centre-back, he sometimes looks a little bit lightweight there, but as a centre midfielder, big guy, imposing guy, and could be really, really useful alongside someone like John Joe Shelvey. For those of you wondering the name I said there, it was John Joe Shelvey. Norwich City struggling to find another player for them, but maybe someone like Philip Billing from Bournemouth. He's actually been playing a bit further forward for Bournemouth at the start of the season, getting forward, scoring a couple of goals for them as well. He's got a really long throw as well, which is a great asset for some teams, probably not Norwich City. But maybe he'll bring that bit more kind of hustle, but also being good enough on the ball. They've already got Gilmour, they've already got Lee Moulet. So maybe someone like Philip Billing could be someone who's within the price range, someone who Bournemouth are okay to let go because they have got other options in midfield, and someone that can be ready for the Premier League straight away. Southampton now. Sorry, Southampton fans. I can't pinpoint an actual rumour for any players with you. Let me know in the comments below, because I'm sure something will have happened since I've recorded this video. But what we do know is Hassan Hutel has kind of pinpointed a position, the number 6 position. He said, we are not 100% finished yet. If there's an interesting opportunity popping up, we will go again. The 6th position, central midfield, is one. We have only 3 players there. James Ward-Prowse, Ibrahima Diallo and Romeu, even if we have other players who can play there. So maybe there's a player in that kind of realm. Jack Wilshere is available. don't think that's going to be the one for them. They'll probably look to be a bit smarter, maybe utilise the Bundesliga in some way. But that is the position, at least, that they want to get sorted out. So it'll be interesting to see if they try and bring someone in for the last couple of days. Maybe someone like Ethan Ampadu, who we were talking about earlier, could be a good fit there. Tottenham Hotspur, Adama Traore. Looks like they're going in heavy for a winger now, and it maybe kind of just shows you that deep down, Levy knew, didn't he? He knew he was going to be able to keep Kane all along, and they just are now ready to pull the trigger. Nuno Espirito Santo seems to have a sort of strong core of what he wanted at Wolves, and maybe he's looking to recreate that. If you look at how well he got the best out of Jimenez, Traore, who is heavily linked, and Pedro Neto, there's a similar vibe there to Son, Kane and Traore if he was to make his way over to Spurs. So this is interesting because I think Bergwijn and Moore have had a really good start to the season. So you could have someone like Traore to come off the bench, which is pretty electric. It also could bring out the best in someone like Doherty, and it could also possibly lead to a back three for Spurs, where they have that little bit more solidity as well. It will give them options, that's for sure. Watford, the Will Hughes transfer was the one I was going to put forward, but it looks like that one's done as well. So they're going to look to replace that, and with a defensive midfielder. Sissoko might have happened by now, and if it has, then sorry, I apologise. But the one that I really like for them is Okay Yokuslu. At West Brom last season, played 16 appearances in the Premier League, and West Brom fans, I'm sure you'll let me know, he was really good for you last year when he came in. Watford, I think, are going to play on the counter-attack. They're going to need people who are going to be able to break it up. I think he'd be a perfect signing for Watford. West Ham making a few moves in the final days of the transfer window, and Lingard's the one. And hey, guys, am I right? Lingard's the guy you want to come back deep down. But, you know, if some of these players come through, are you going to have the cash to go and get Lingard? And we did say, didn't we? We did say, one to watch, Ben Rama. Do you even need Lingard anymore? Do you even need him anymore? Let me know in the comments below. But Lingard would be the one, wouldn't he? Can he keep that form going as well? So many questions. Let me know. And Wolves, this is brilliant. Sven Botman has been linked. Sorry, I just need to check that again. Sven Botman has been linked. Transfer marked. And they wouldn't lie. They don't work in speculation. They work in cold, hard fact. Cheers, transfer marked. Sven Botman obviously came through Ajax. He's only 21 years old. 2 or 3 years' time, he's probably going to be as good as De Ligt. He's available, apparently. I mean, the estimated market value is 25 million. Can you get him for that from Lille? Again, it's Ligue 1. Some of these teams need to sell their best assets just to kind of recoup some of the money lost last season. So if Wolves can pull this one off, it will be absolutely crazy. But it will be absolutely huge for them as well. Such a shot in the arm if you get someone like Sven Botman through the door. So there we have it, guys. Every single team still in the market, it seems. It's going to be a crazy couple of days. Make sure you have subscribed to this channel so that you don't miss out on any of the reactions over the last couple of hours of the transfer deadline day. And of course, we'll be doing a live stream the day after the deadline day to let you guys know who won it, because that is, of course, always the question. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Did I miss out on any transfer rumours that you've seen? Help me, help you, help you, help me. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time.